G'day everybody, how are you going today? It is so very good to see you. Today's video is not specifically about photography or about photographic gear. It's about the channel, it's about how we've been so far and where we're going in the future. I want to touch on some of the milestones that are here and coming very soon, and I want to touch on my plans. What am I going to do? What's this all about? It's been a crazy journey so far. It's been exciting and fulfilling, and I am doing what I love so much, which is filmmaking and photography. They have always been my number one passions since I was like 10 years old, as long as I can remember. So I am in the happiest of places, and there's nothing that brings me more joy than when I'm out there photographing and creating and using all of this amazing equipment to give us amazing results. This channel was created because of that joy, and I wanted to share my joy. That was critical to me. And never at any point did I particularly want to get bogged down in the gear. And more than anything else, I never wanted to get bogged down in the gear wars. And I'll tell you the main reason for that is because I'm agnostic. For practical reasons, people will end up in one ecosystem or another simply because most of us cannot afford to buy everything. But I have bought Pentax, I have bought Hasselblad, I have bought Sony, I have bought Canon, I have bought Nikon, and I have probably forgotten one or two. I'm not sure if GoPro counts. I'm not sure if DJI counts, but I've also bought both of those. I have always been a use case driven photographer. Before there was social media, before there was YouTube, I just bought what I needed to do the job. There was no such thing as brand wars. There was no such thing as one thing is better than another. I'll tell you why. Because that is so specific to every single person's needs. There is no such thing as one camera that is best for every single human being. It doesn't exist. Some of us shoot in a studio and never go outside. Some of us shoot in the rain and never go inside. Some of us shoot on top of mountains, and some of us shoot underwater. And there are perhaps 100,000 permutations in between. So part of all of that, that's the person who I was, that's the person who I am. But again, for practical reasons, we do settle in one system or another, and we focus because, well, that just makes sense. Having 5 different camera systems of the same type, like 35mm, why would you have 5 different 35mm systems? Doesn't really make a lot of sense unless looking at systems for a living is what you do, which is what you see here on YouTube, and that's completely cool. Here's the thing, here's the rub. I am here on YouTube. I've always been interested in multiple systems. I own multiple systems. Right now, I still own fairly current Hasselblad, Sony, and Nikon systems. And I love them all, and they all do different things. So what's the future of the channel moving forwards in regard to brand? I want to get it out there that I am not interested in one brand being better than another brand. I am super interested in you finding the tool that best suits your needs. And that is use case, budget, and legacy. And it's absolutely realistic. What's your use case? What are you shooting? What's your budget? Can you afford to completely change system because of a new use case? And what's your legacy? You might have a whole lot of gear in a system that's still going to support you even moving forwards. And these are super relevant things. And that's it. That's where I come from. It's not because of the name on the top of the camera. It's because of what you're doing with it. It's because of how much money you've got. And it's because of what's the legacy in your cupboard. And whether you want to stick with that, whether you're brand loyal because you choose to be, that's completely cool too. That's not a war thing. That's not a brand war thing. That's just, you've chosen that you like something. Why not? It's like a nice jacket that you put on and it feels great. And perhaps something that I can add to, speaking of a nice jacket that feels great, which is use case budget and legacy is ergonomics. I think ergonomics is an absolutely critical thing. And all of us, well, we're all made differently. We all have different sized hands. We all shoot left eye, right eye. There's a mix. There's a mix of reasons. Some of us are stronger in the arms. Some of us are weaker in the arms. Some of us don't care about heavy equipment. Some of us do care about heavy equipment, and we're looking for the smallest and the lightest. But some of us don't care at all. I'm one of them. But I am lucky to continue to be strong. I've got 2 young kids that I have to carry, and I can tell you they are significantly heavier than 1 or 2 kilos of camera gear. We are talking 20, 30 plus kilos. We all have different parameters. And in the interests of that, in being mindful of that, the channel moving forwards, I'm going to be trying to spend as much time in different brands as I can. Now, I can't afford, like some channels, to just have everything. So some of what I might be doing is reaching out to brands and saying, hey, can I borrow your gear? For example, the Sony a7S III. From my perspective, that is probably one of the best cameras for video, for videoing the sort of things that I video late at night in the dark. That's my guess that it's the best for that sort of thing in the 35mm prosumer, consumer, professional space. That's what I think. That's what it looks like on paper. But for my use case, I'd actually like to try it out. Just like I purchased the A7R and I purchased the A7R III to try it out. They were the whole reason I bought it. I'm not stuck in any brand. I'm a Nikon user since 1997, but in the meantime I've bought Canon, Sony, Hasselblad and others to try it out, to see. That's what's so exciting about it. And as use case changes, as the use case might change in my life or in your life, well, we get the gear according to our needs. And I think that's completely fair enough. So I'm going to be reaching out to different companies if I think there's a piece of equipment that fits my world. The A7S III is for video. It is not for stills. I mean, you can shoot 12 megapixel stills, but that doesn't shoot my use case of publishing books and making canvas prints that are 2 meters wide. Yes, it's possible. It is. Don't flame on me because it's not. We all know it's possible to make large prints with 12 megapixels, but that's not my choice as an artist. I would like more resolution in there. My interest in exploring this is specifically for the creation of content for this channel. But it's not for photography in this particular case. It's use case driven. But budget, the second one, means I can't really explore it on my own. So I will be reaching out, and it may not work out. So be it. The reason I'm telling this story is to say that I'm agnostic. I try things based on use case. I've got a proper medium format digital Hasselblad because of use case, because of those 2 3-meter wide canvas prints. We're talking 10 feet here, wide prints. And the Hasselblad just goes, yeah, no problems. You go as big as you like. I'm not even breaking a sweat. This thing still looks epic at 10 feet wide. No magic has to be done. You just print the file, put it in Photoshop, you print it, and it's there. It's use case based, not brand based. Sure, it's the Porsche of cameras, but that's not why I bought it. It's because I had a use case. It's ridiculously expensive, so you really do want to have a use case. So that's a big part of the channel moving forwards. I am still primarily a Nikon user, and in no way, shape or form does this change my love or desire around what Nikon are doing and everything else. It doesn't change it. It's unwavering that I believe that, like the review that I just did here with the 50mm, that is absolutely class-leading, outstanding, optically just gorgeous glass. And for my use case, which is not birds in flight and is not action, Nikon is delivering a ridiculous optical experience. So far, to the best of my understanding, as I've said in that video, there's kind of this medium format vibe, yet here we are getting it in 35mm. I am yet to see that optical experience, and that's what I'm talking about because that's what's important to me, the optical experience. Sure, it might be larger, but it's the optical experience. That's where I am at. That is why I got a Hasselblad. None of that changes. None of that changes. But again, this is about use case. I've got a growing channel. Creating the video is a critical part, and doing it as seamlessly and as fast and as error-free from a video perspective. I want to see if it's going to work. I might not even be able to get my hands on one, so I won't. This may not happen at all. And I may get it and find out that the difference between what I'm getting out of Nikon and what Sony provides for my use case is not significantly different, so it's irrelevant anyhow. But I want to take that journey. And I want to be able to take that journey without the Nikon users feeling any fear. Don't have any fear. I haven't changed. And without Sony users thinking that I'm taking the piss, because I'm not. This is use case based. I'm a professional. I've been doing this for 30 years. I know what works for me. I know what I'm trying to achieve. What's in my heart and my mind is not what's in your heart or your mind. You don't know what I'm doing. We all do things differently. And perhaps part of why I've been able to make a career out of image making is because I do things my own way. So let's not anybody worry about anything. To repeat for one last time, this is a brand agnostic channel that recognizes that in the real world, we have to probably invest in one system just because we don't have endless cash. But as this channel grows, I need to think about my different use cases. Just like the camera I'm shooting on here, it's the Z6. It is sitting on this tripod. It pretty much never moves unless I've got a professional shoot and I want a third body with me. Its use case now is to create, with the 50mm 1.8 that's sitting there, this beautiful imagery that it does superbly. I love the output from this camera. Minimal cost, minimal effort. It looks great, 4K, 24, 30p, whatever you're after. So that's the plan moving forwards. We are going to continue to explore camera gear use on a use case base and just see what happens. And don't worry, I love all cameras. But I want to be able to, from my perspective, say, I like this or I don't like this. That's the plan. I'd love your thoughts on that. Please let me know in the comments below. But do not worry. That 50mm 1.2 from Nikon makes my eyes water. It is optical gold. That ain't changing. I ain't changing. When I'm out shooting streetscapes at night that don't move, they don't run, that is always going to be the lens. Until the 85 1.2 comes from Nikon, and then, I'll have two ridiculous lenses. Now, the next thing that I wanted to talk about is the channel. Now, the channel is just, it's going great. I'm so excited about being perhaps something like a month-ish away from hitting the 20,000 subscriber mark. And that is an astonishing milestone from my perspective. So I just have to say thank you to you and YouTube and the world. Thanks for being part of the journey and the community. And when I say community, I've already made some amazing connections through this channel. And one of the reasons I created this channel was to create a community. Because as a small business operator, you can spend a lot of time alone. You can spend a lot of time in your head and in your own world, fighting the fight and doing your own thing. So there are a bunch of just wonderful people out there who I have conversations with over email or in the comments or in Instagram or whatever, and also people who I've met in real life. You know who you are. All of it is amazing. And I want to say thank you for all of that. And even if we haven't chatted and you're there and you're a part of the community, you are still part of the community. And if you want to say hi, please do say hi. But I want to thank every single person. I wanted this to be a real community with real connections and real people. And that's exactly what's happened. And I'm so excited for it. So thank you very much. A couple of other milestones. We've now surpassed 3 million views. That seems like a lot. That's a big number. I mean, who would have thought that there's been 3 million clicks to watch my videos? And videos are watched anywhere between 100% and, maybe the first 5%. But that's a lot of views. So thank you for the views. We're almost up at 250,000 views now. Almost 250,000 views a month. That's also another great milestone. So thank you. Thank you very much. So far, so good. The journey is very exciting. I would love your input on what else you'd like to see. It's some weeks it's a matter of I don't have as much time and perhaps the content is more news-based, and other weeks I have more time and I can get out there and make longer form videos about a particular product and do the real world reviews, which I want to do properly, and I want to show you as much of the real stuff as I can so you can just simply make your own decisions. That's kind of what I want. It's like, here's what I can achieve. That means you can achieve it too. What do you think? That's what it's all about. It's just about that. By example. I'd prefer by example than ranting about something. Further to that, a little fun side project that is coming up very soon. As I said, I'd talk about some of what's coming up very soon. What do we have here? These two ridiculous cameras that we have here. This happens to be the Nikon D4 and the Nikon F5. Glorious pieces of Nikon technology. And on the front there, I've got two separate 50mm lenses. One's a 50mm 1.8 and one's the 50mm 1.2. This is the plan, to go out with the D4 and go out with the F5, shoot them side by side and see what results I can achieve. What's the difference? Just as a bit of fun. It's a bit of a test. It's a bit of a can I achieve as good results with the old F5 50mm as I can with the more modern D4, but the lens is still an older type of lens. That's something that's coming up, but I would love to know, what else would you love to see? The kind of the sky's the limit at this point. There's so many different things that we can make content about, and really this is a community and I'd love to share what you would like me to share. So I'd love you to let me know that stuff. Okay, well, this was just a little bit of an update to say thank you so much. I'm so excited about reaching the 20,000 in the next month or so, and how many views that we have each month, and the fact that as the channel grows, we can broaden our horizons and, you know, just play with all sorts of different bits and pieces. I love it. But I do have budgetary limits, so we'll see how we go. We'll see what happens. And, you know, it's also based on what is released in the world, isn't it? One other thing I just wanted to mention before I go, a few people have reached out to me and said motivation to get out there and shoot is tough as COVID lockdowns in some places continue to roll on. And I take this very, very seriously, and I'm going to put my thinking cap on, and we're going to get some content out there to help us all stay motivated. It's so important, and our love of photography perhaps starts with the fact that it helps us connect to the world, whether it's birding and going into the wilderness, whether it's walking around busy city streets on a Friday night, or whether it's hitting the best piece of coast that you have in your country and watching the waves crashing. This stuff is so important to our mental health, and I implore you, please just get out there. Even if you end up leaving your camera in your bag, it's so important to just get out there and realize what a beautiful place this planet is. It's so good to see you. Thank you, community. Thank you, everybody, very, very much. And if this is your first time here, please do subscribe and join the community, and I would love to see you again. And please reach out however you would. Oh, and just as a footnote, I wanted to say, look, sometimes I don't get back to everybody as fast as I would like. There are so many social media channels that I'm on. There's probably about 5 or 6, and sometimes it just takes a while to go round the cycle of responding to everybody. So if it takes me even a week or 2 weeks, I'm sorry about that, but I do get there eventually. There's just a lot to talk about, a lot to do, and I always want to respond to people as meaningfully as I can. Over 300 episodes that are down there that you can watch right now. Oh, I think that was it. Okay.